Dolly Parton's death is being felt far beyond country music. The iconic singer and songwriter died at her home in Nashville today at the age of 80. Her music and her legacy have had a lasting impact on generations of artists, including right here in Austin. And joining us now to talk about Dolly's legacy and her connection to the live music capital of the world is Terry Lacona, the executive producer of Austin City Limits on Austin PBS. Terry, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much. It is a sad day with the sad news out of Nashville. It's hard to imagine a world without Dolly Parton in it. And you know, at a time when everything seems to be so divisive and politicized, I read one comment today that there was one thing that everybody could agree on, and that is how much they loved Dolly Parton.
That is the truth. And Terry, you got to meet Dolly yourself when she was here for a taping of Austin City Limits in 2000. What was it like to work with her as a musician?
You're right. She appeared on ACL just one time in the year 2000. She was on tour with a bluegrass band, which was very different for her from her normal live touring shows. And what can I say? Dolly was Dolly. Dolly was always Dolly. What you saw was what you got. There was nothing fake about her. There was no fake persona to her. She was exactly the same way on that stage as she was off the stage. And that's what people loved about her. That's why they could relate to her so well. And to see the way, it's just the way the audience adored Dolly at our show and just in general, wherever she played, really spoke to who she was, the kind of person she was, and the kind of impact that she had. And she told me afterwards, actually, that it was maybe one of the most fun times she had ever had doing TV when she taped Austin City Limits. Knowing how much Dolly Parton had been on television all through her career, that is quite the high praise coming from somebody like her. Superstar icon, they just don't go far enough to describe who she was and how much she meant to music everywhere.
I love hearing that she was the same on stage and when the cameras weren't rolling. That means a lot. And I know she clearly left her mark on country music, but her reach went so much further than that. How do you think she changed the music industry?
She changed the music industry, honestly, because there was nobody else like her. And she raised the bar. She set the standard when it came to country songwriting, and especially for women who have always historically struggled to break through, not just in the country music genre, but in music in general, to be recognized, to have those opportunities that men have always had from the beginning. And she really knocked down the door for so many young female country singers and songwriters. And just her songwriting ability. You know, I Will Always Love You, the song that was a mega hit for Whitney Houston. Her music has been covered by so many artists from so many different genres. And that voice, there is no other voice, male, female, of any genre that compares to hers. If you heard 2 seconds, one note of her voice, you knew exactly who she was.
That is true. And what do you think Dolly's legacy will be for the next generation of musicians?
Well, again, she really set the standard for her generation and for the next generation. When you've seen some of the responses today from today's country music singers, female singers like Casey Musgraves and others, who talk about how much she influenced and inspired them to pursue their careers and their songwriting and singing styles. And you know, her impact on Austin should not be ignored either. I think she only appeared in Austin 6 times in the course of her career, 5 times besides her Austin City Limits performance. But each time she came to Austin over the years, she made a splash in different ways. She was the last headliner, I think, at the Austin Aquafest, if those of you who've been around Austin long enough remember that. Before there was an ACL music festival, there was Aquafest, and Dolly was the headliner that one year with Ringo Starr, of all people. Now, there's a footnote for you. And she came to Austin in the 80s and specifically wanted to meet Ann Richards when Ann was governor of Texas, of course, back then. And Scott Newton took an iconic photograph of the two of them together. And who knows what they were talking about. But this photo of Dolly Parton and Ann Richards together, you could tell they were talking some you-know-what. And she came back for South by Southwest. And I think one of my favorite stories about Dolly in Austin is the fact that back in, I think it was 2023, she sent a rhinestone-covered guitar to a pretty well-known, if not famous, drag queen in Austin who went by the name Bridget Bandit. And Dolly had heard Bridget was a big fan of hers and that she was a big supporter of children's books, which of course, as we all know, Dolly was as well. Dolly Parton donated like 1 million books a month to schools for children all over the U.S. Anyway, she sent this rhinestone-covered guitar to Bridget Bandit. And Dolly was always a supporter of the LGBTQ community, and likewise, she was an icon in that world as well.
Such an amazing lady, gone but definitely
So
never
many
forgotten.
stories. Oh no, never.
Austin City Limits executive producer Terry Lacona, thank you so much for being with us and sharing your stories and memories.
Happy to do it. Thanks so much.